The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, Chapter 7, Part 3. They thanked him, of course, with many bows and sweeping of their hoods, and with many and at your service, O master of wide wooden halls. But their spirits sank at his grave words, and they all felt that the adventure was far more dangerous than they had thought. While all the time, even if they passed all the perils of the road, the dragon was waiting at the end. All that morning they were busy with preparations. Soon after midday, they ate with Bjorn for the last time, and after the meal, they mounted the steeds he was lending them, and bidding him many farewells, they rode off through his gate at a good pace. As soon as they left his high hedges at the east of his fenced lands, they turned north and they bore to the northwest. By his advice, they were no longer making for the main forest road to the south of his land. Had they followed the pass, their path would have led them down a stream of mountains that join Great River miles south of Karok. At that point, there was a deep ford which they might have passed. If they had still had their ponies, and beyond that a track led to skirts of the wood and to the entrance of the old forest road. But Bjorn had warned them that that way was now often used by goblins, while the forest road itself, he had heard, was overgrown and disused at the eastern end and led to impassable marshes where the paths had long been lost. Its eastern opening had also always been far to the south of the lonely mountain, and would have left them still with a long and difficult northward march when they got to the other side. North of Karok, the edge of Mirkwood drew closer to the borders of Great River, and though here the mountains too drew down nearer, Bjorn advised them to take this way, for at a place a few days' ride to the south of Karok was the gate of little known pathway through Mirkwood that led almost straight towards the lonely mountain. The goblins, Bjorn had said, will not dare to cross the great river for 100 miles north of Karok, nor come near my house. It is well protected at night. But I should ride fast, for if they make their raid soon, they will cross the river to the south and scour all the edge of the forest so as to cut you off. And wargs run swifter than ponies. Still, you are safer going north, even though you seem to be going back nearer to their strongholds. For that is what they will least expect, and they will have the longer ride to catch you. Be off now as quick as you may. That is why they were now riding in silence, galloping wherever the ground was grassy and smooth, with the mountains dark on their left, and in the distance the line of the river with its trees drawing even closer. The sun had only just turned west when they started, and till evening it lay a golden on land above them. It was difficult to think of pursuing goblins behind, and when they had put many miles between them and Bjorn's house, they began to talk and sing again and to forget the dark forest path that lay in front. But in the evening, when the dusk came on and the peaks of the mountains glowered against the sunset, they made a camp and set a guard, and most of them slept uneasily with the dreams in which there came the howl of hunting wolves and the cries of goblins. Still, the next morning dawned bright and fair again. There was an autumn like mist white upon the ground, and the air was chill. But soon the sun rose red in the east, and the mist vanished, And while the shadows were still long, they were off again. So they rode now for 2 more days, and all the while they saw nothing save grass and flowers and birds and scattered trees, and occasionally small herds of red deer browsing or sitting at the noon in the shade. Sometimes Bilbo saw horns of harts sticking up out of the long grass, and at first he thought they were the dead branches of trees. That third evening they were so eager to press on, for Bjorn had said that they should reach the forest gate early on the fourth day, and they rode still forward after dusk and into the night beneath the moon. As the light faded, Bilbo thought he saw away to the right or to the left the shadowy form of a great bear prowling along in the same direction. But if he dared to mention it to Gandalf, the wizard only said, "Hush, take no notice." Next day they started before dawn, though their night had been short. As soon as it was light, they could see the forest coming, as it were to meet them, or waiting for them like a black, frowning wall before them. The land began to slope up and up, and it seemed to the hobbit that a silence began to draw in upon them. Birds began to sing less. There were no more deer, not even rabbits were to be seen. By the afternoon, they had reached the eaves of Mirkwood and were resting almost beneath the great overhanging boughs of its outer trees. Their trunks were huge and gnarled, their branches twisted, their leaves were dark and long. Ivy grew on them and tailed along the ground. "Well, here is Mirkwood," said Gandalf, "the greatest of the forest of the northern world. I hope you like the look of it. Now you must send back these excellent ponies you have borrowed." The dwarfs were inclined to grumble at this, but the wizard told them they were fools. "Bjorn is not as far off as you seem to think, and you had better keep your promises anyway, for he is a bad enemy."